seat.
Hello.
Hello. Woody Allen. Hi, Woody. How are you? Can I kiss you on the cheek? All right. Woody's so remarked. Oh, you see that? I knew it. I know it, Woody.
I was drifting around backstage,
And you just happened to drop by, right?
Yes, I couldn't resist
the
temptation. I thought I could come out here and make points.
Do you know, Woody worked at the club for a year, and we had more trouble. The place was inundated with absolutely beautiful women all the time. That's
You're laughing at that.
Woody, why don't you read the letter? Why don't you read the first letter?
What is
These
this
are letters
letter?
she's gotten from, fans and people who have seen her on. By the way, did you bring your January issue with you?
My what?
Your January issue.
Oh, no.
No, okay.
You want me to actually read this?
Well, I think there are parts there that you might read. read any of the parts. that you
Anything
might.
here?
Yeah, like.
Okay,
let's-
dear
any of
Miss
those parts.
Marsh, right?
Right.
That's you.
Right. No, her.
As president of your fan club here at Volk Field, Wisconsin, I have the pleasure of writing you this letter. Our vote nominated you, Surrey Marsh, as the most beautiful playmate. All of your body lines float together to make the most picturesque shape in the world. Your eyes are like sparkling diamonds, your hair like satin, and your lips are formed to perfection. To top it off, your skin is like silk, completely flawless.
How do you feel then?
I have trouble keeping my food down. You want to go on with this?
Let's look at some others. Listen, as long as you're halfway into it, let me
Gets
see.
into close
Yeah,
up
but
here.
can you imagine writing letters like this?
I would. It's really nice.
Do you write
actually.
letters
It's
like this,
very
Woody?
exciting. No, I'm not a letter writer. I
You're a writer.
ring the bell.
Huh? That's kind of. Oh, there's the bell. You hear it? Go ahead. All right. So you know what that means? We got to cut out now for a little while. Surrey, thank you very, very much for being here. Woody and I are going to look at those letters like mad. It's a great pleasure, right?
Nice to be here.
Surrey is certainly beautiful.
She is, isn't she?
Yeah,
Woody, you know what? I think we should have.
It's very real. I think it's in mind.
What we should have done.
Bitter End, October 15, cut 3.
Say that again, Woody, when we get back on the air. I think that was very funny.
It was spontaneous. I mean, the whole situation would have to reoccur identically to how it reoccurred while we were in the break. The girl would have to run across without the clothes again. And it'd be
They'd have trouble with that. They'd have trouble with it. Woody, there's one thing that really sort of gets to me. I remember when you worked at the Bitter End, and when you came off stage, you used to clasp your hands over your ears, right? And we'd all go back in the back room, and you would not listen under any circumstance to the applause.
That's right.
Right. Now, I just saw you recently in Las Vegas, and you're kind of digging the whole scene about performing. Have you really changed a heck of a lot as far as your performance is concerned?
I'll tell you what the difference is. It's that you can't tell whether they want you back for a bow or not. And you have to make a very quick decision. And you go off stage the first time, and they're applauding. And you walk, and they keep applauding, so you begin to go back for your bow. And then the applause begin to fade a little, so you walk away, and then they come up again, you know, and it drives you crazy. So I found the best thing to do is do my show, and then not listen to the applause at all, and just not go back for an encore. I mean, that's the way I used to do it for years. Now, it's a different story because when you play a place like Vegas, they demand that you do an encore. So if I walk off to nothing. You know, I could have been working for half an hour, and I end, and there's no applause. There's a general smattering of applause from the more perceptive ones, but that's it, you know, like this. And then I stand there, and I count to about 15, and I walk back on as though they loved me, you know, and I continue.
They have the band to help you. They do that big rah, 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 and they repeat the chord over and over and again. Doesn't that help a little bit? So you really can't hear the applause way back there.
Yeah, the band is a tremendous help in general, except I've gone on and at times, I remember one night in Las Vegas, I went on and I did my show, and the band dispersed behind me as soon as I came out, you know, and you figure, well, that's good because they've heard the jokes and you don't want to see them sitting like this, you know, and I got so few laughs with my act that I ended my act while the band was still playing cards in the room. You know, usually they come back on at a certain time and they're ready to play me off. And now I was finished, you know, it took about 18 minutes, and I finished and I did my little curtsy, you know, and the band was not behind me. And then and I did it again, and I try and get body English or something, and, you know, they're like this, and I walk off, and there's no band, and it's very, you know, it's like a mausoleum, and people get up and they shuffle about embarrassed, and then finally I come back on, and the band comes shuffling in, and, you know, it's really depressing. It's just...
So you're basically shy. That's when, doesn't that really get to you? I mean, how do you handle it when, when you just disappear afterwards? I mean, doesn't it really get to you when a situation occurs like that?
Yeah, if I go out on stage and it's a night where I die, and it's funny because all the bad people come the same night. It's a strange thing, you know. It's not like if I play 7 nights, it's like everybody that doesn't want to laugh at me comes the same night. You know, I'll have. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I get a half good audience 7 nights.
I've seen audiences.
I get great audiences every night, and then one night nobody wants to laugh for some reason, and they just sit there and.
That happens at the club occasionally. Although I've never seen you really lately. You know, Woody, one of the great things is you come back to the club, which is always endeared you to me for the fact that you started at the club, you know.
I'm embarrassed. Any kind of flattery or affection
really gets
just
you, huh?
drives me up the wall.
Woody,
Finish what you were saying. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's what I'd like to know. You have changed the image of American manhood with your movies like What's New Pussycat, with your attitude on camera, with your personality. I have just recently heard that there are women's manuals now that have come out that tell you how to handle your husband on the wedding night, what to do if he cries, how to control your passion, a whole series of ideas. And I feel that you're very responsible for that situation with me.
Well, because I think I'm one of the few people that think sex is funny. I find it uproariously funny. Everything about it, the ludicrous choreography of it. I mean, it's just, the entire thing strikes me as enormously amusing, and it sends me into gales of laughter at the moments of high passion, and it's lost me a lot of chicks, you know. But I just can't help it. I find it an enormously funny thing.
But they applaud.
They applaud because when you've got technique, you've got it. You know, it's like they applaud me in the same way you applaud Art Tatum or Oscar Peterson or somebody that is so dazzling technically that you just awe-inspired.
Woody, right now